Here are my picks for today, beginning with the story of film by Mark Cousins. Now this one is something special. First, it's 15 hours long. And second, it is a complete history of cinema. It is essentially your film school, which you can have during the entire film festival. Mark Cousins is a Northern Irish director who's gone around the world interviewing filmmakers, people like Martin Scorsese. He's got clips from amazing movies. He tells you the entire history of film, and not just Hollywood film, not just European film, but world cinema. So he's in Afghanistan, he's in Asia, he's all over the world, he's in Africa, talking about how cinema has changed those societies, how they've contributed to the history of cinema, and he's done it in 15 hours, which we're breaking down so you can watch it at one segment at a time, and the best part of all, it's free. That's the story of film by Mark Cousins. Another pick for today is from Up on Poppy Hill. This film is from Japan. It's by Goro Miyazaki. He's the son of Hayao Miyazaki, the great Japanese animator, considered by many to be one of the best animators in all of cinema. His son Goro makes quite different films from his father, actually, although they work for the same studio Ghibli production company. But in this case, we've got a very sweet, very romantic fable about two teenagers, a young girl and a young boy, who are trying to save their boarding school. This is in 1964. On the eve of the Tokyo Olympics. Tokyo and Japan are still recovering from the Second World War, and you have these very two idealistic young people falling in love against that backdrop. It is beautifully animated. It's just rich in color. It feels like you're watching a series of watercolors unfold, and it's got a very lovely romantic sensibility as well. Another pick for today is called Tahrir 2011, The Good, the Bad, and the Politician. This is a documentary from Egypt, and it answers the questions that I think a lot of us have had about what happened in Tahrir Square, what happened when that revolution overthrew Hosni Mubarak. We have three filmmakers here, three short films, three different perspectives on what happened over the past several months in Egypt. They're trying to tell us about the activist movement that led to the overthrow of Mubarak's regime. They're trying to tell us about the security police who tried to prevent what was happening in Egypt. And then also they're trying to tell us about the culture of dictatorship that allowed Mubarak to stay in power for so long. We're going to make this part of our Mavericks conversation program, so we will show this film and then open that up into a conversation about Tahrir 2011, about the Egyptian revolution, and about what's still happening right now in the Arab world. Another pick for today is called A Monster in Paris. This film is from France. It's by Bibo Bergeron, who also works in Hollywood. He was the director of Shark Tale. In this case, he's telling a story that's set in Paris in 1910. It's about a monster, a creature who's roaming through the streets of Paris. So he's a misunderstood monster, and it's about what happens when he confronts the people who are trying to chase after him. It's beautiful animation in the style of the DreamWorks animation that he's done in terms of Shark Tale. It's got Adam Goldberg doing some of the voice work. It's part of our TIFF Kids section, and this film is recommended for ages 11 and up. Another pick for today is called Man on Ground from South Africa. Now, when we think of movies from South Africa, we often think of the independence struggle, the democracy struggle, the fight against apartheid. And when we think of stories about immigration, we often think about the first world and people from the third world trying to get in. But this is a film about South Africa today and about the migrants who are trying to get into South Africa, who are from other parts of Africa and who still face enormous discrimination. In this case, there are two brothers from Nigeria who have tried to make a life in South Africa, but a tragedy happens to one and the other has to try to find out what happened. It's a very tough drama from a very interesting director because he has a similar kind of history. Akino Matoso, the director of Man on Ground, is from Nigeria but lives in South Africa and so understands this tension between the people who were born and raised in Johannesburg and the people who have just arrived to try to make a better life for themselves.